Well, hello. Hello, hello. Children of the earth. How are we? You feeling good? You feeling whimsical? I hope so, because that is my name, born, bred, and bat mitzvah. How is everybody? Well, looks like you are all here. I'm going to take a minute. I have to get some water while people find the stream. Oh, I should probably get a tissue. Hi, Geocosmic. Good to see you. Oh, wow. That's nice of you, Geocosmic. Probably get a tissue before we get started. Discuss amongst yourselves. Just a sec. Well, welcome to me, everybody. It is I, Whimsy, a fake oracle, broadcasting live from somewhere in downtown Portland, Oregon. And gosh darn it, do we need to talk. This is our Thursday's Hot Topics. This is our happy hour. So if you're grabbing the booze, there's no judgment. If you're grabbing anything else to comfort you, to get you through the week, I want you to know that I'm there for you. A couple of quick announcements, then we will go ahead and turn the camera around and greet you all. Let's start with the basics. Rule number one is be kind to all so that all can be kind to you. We have a lot of remote views. Excuse me, my throat should clear up in a second. We have a lot to get through. So I know a lot of you guys have a lot of questions about the remote views. This is what my mind maps are looking like. Remote viewers maps. So we'll be busy today. Also want to announce that we have a book club. If you would like to participate, if you would like to join our book club, we get together at the end of the month, live after the Tuesday taco show, the last Tuesday of the month. Ooh, I'm starting to sweat. I think I'm going to take that off. So if you have a book that you've written and you would like us to read it in our book club, you can send it to me, Dr. Whimsy at 1819 Southwest 5th Avenue, Suite 116, Portland, Oregon, 97201. Our book selection for the month of July, if you would like to join us, these are books that have been written by, excuse me, these are books that have been written by subscribers and fans of the channel. We are reading Stay Sober and Save the World, written by Ellen Archer. She's a very talented writer. I wanted to say that this reminds me of heart-centered remote viewing. She puts herself into a meditation and she opens up a dialogue between her and a woman that lived thousands of years ago. And the conversation between them is the book. So it's a fascinating read, and I think you'll all enjoy it. So we will be discussing the book live on the Tuesday show at the end of July. Still time to get your reading materials in if you'd like me to consider your book. I will be announcing. I will be. Oh my gosh, can't stop coughing. I will be announcing our August selection in about a week. All right. All right. Let's see what else. Okay, so what is going on with me? I just got out of a shower, which is why I'm coughing. The humidity. Um, I'm drinking a coffee, a glass of water, and a tropical fruit juice. So, it's just happening here. Coffee, water, tropical fruit juice. I do it all. Hey, Tawny. Tawny and I will be doing a part 2. Probably be airing in a couple of weeks. A little bit more intimate conversation will be taking place in part 2. I got some of y'all emails. And Tawny, being the wonderful person that she is, she will be any explicit questions. She's not afraid to answer them about life as a trans woman. So we look forward also to speaking with her again soon for part 2 of the interviews. Let's turn the camera around. Tell me where you're coming from, what you eating, what you drink, what you eat, what you drinking. Excuse me. What are you eating? What are you drinking? And where you're coming from. Yeah. Hi, Heidi. Good to see you here. Oh, please put link on here for your Facebook page. I don't know if Debbie's going to be here, but if she's going to be here, she can do that. Hi, Annie. Good to see you. Hi, Bert Benz. Welcome. Hi, Karen Young. Jim Jordan. Yes, he's in trouble, isn't he? Not the nicest people here, are they? Hi, Debbie M. Great to see you. Thank you for being a member. You want to know about Trump? We can talk about that. Hi, Melody Harmon. Thank you so much for your support. Hi, Sue Malik. Always good to see you. John Franz. Hello. TR, welcome. Hi, Pat BWI. Geocosmic is in the house making everything right. She is one of our moderators. Wildflower Winds. Hello. Maureen Clemens. Hello. Joanne Smith, Copper Brew. Claudia Veris in Astoria, New York. Welcome. Mel Broussard in Texas. Anybody here having anything hard to drink? Hi, Lisa. 2 Russian generals are missing, including Prigozhin, wanted to have removed. What happened to them? We will be talking about it. Aggravated Progressive. Hello, Aggravated. Great to see you here. Greetings from stormy Colorado, says Simply Me. Oh, Carolyn Lynn Rossell. It's rainy in Maine. I got to get over there. I got to see some parts of New England I haven't been to yet that I'm looking forward to seeing. Oh, you had a question at the very beginning, Debbie M. Oh, the Trump and Putin. About I think that the Russian government and the Russian bank are pretty much the same thing. And so if they invest in a client, they're going to want to see their returns. So I'm sure that what they were talking about was Putin getting a return on his investment. This was why Obama opened an investigation into high-profile people, a lot of them out of New York, that had been taking questionable loans from AEB Bank and other questionable sources, Deutsche Bank, which had loans that they were supplying. People were laundering money. They were trying to wash their money, etc., by investing in American companies, etc., but also bribing people. So I think that that's a lot of what's starting to come out. Hi, Joel. Thank you for being here. Joel is our floor moderator. He's like our floor director. He'll be walking the floor with a microphone, making sure that everyone's questions get answered. I am wearing contact lenses, but my eyesight's not the best, so Joel is here to help. Putin is blaming everything on Prigozhin and Wagner. Are people ready for the remotes? Can we begin the remotes? We've got about 338 people here. And my nose is finally dried up. Oh, there's a lot going on here, huh? Wow. A prayer request. All right. Well, we will send prayers out. All right. So the first thing that we're going to talk about, because you guys are interested and because it's really happening now, has to do with the Putin purge. I got the date of the end of the war wrong because I didn't think that they were going to keep going last year. I think, and rightly so, people are like, come on, Whimsy, it keeps going on. I'll tell you why I thought it wasn't going to go on this long. What my reasoning was. They don't have any money. And so you have to think in terms of, from the perspective of Russia, what kind of ego is involved when you realize you've gotten yourself in a terrible situation and you really don't have a way to leave, and so you just hunker down and you blow through your entire military arsenal. And everything about this is so unbelievably irrational. I believe what you're asking about, what Joel is talking about, and what a lot of you are asking about, I believe the name is Sergei Surovikin. He was one of the main people, head of the military, and he's being suspected of working with Prigozhin. That he sat back and allowed Prigozhin to walk on Moscow. Look, I think their military is in such shambles. I think if NATO wanted to march on Moscow, they could right now. People keep talking about nuclear weapons. Prigozhin has said, don't be stupid. You sound like an idiot. He said that publicly, Prigozhin. You start dropping bombs, they're going to intercept. You're going to wipe out Moscow in 30 minutes. So first off, they're in bad shape, a lot of this stuff, because it hasn't been kept up. What did they expect was going to happen when they literally, I'm telling you, when I went in, this is why I talked about it last year. I said they don't have any tanks left. Last year they wiped out a huge portion of their tanks. I'm like, how can they keep this going? Also, people started feeling guilty. Turkey started feeling, we can't keep helping you out. Syria was like, Syria, we got our hands full over in Iran and Syria. China, they'd rather get the contracts. So if we help you, how are we going to get the contracts to clean up the mess that you created? Come on, man. So it has completely bankrupted Russia, this war. What surprises me, and here is again, I get surprised too. I get surprised too, and I'm not perfect. People want the remote viewers to be perfect. The psychics, oh well, you get one little thing wrong. We don't know everything. It's entertainment. It's the cherry on top. It's not a replacement, of course, for science, but we tell you what we know, and I think they were pretty much on the brink of bankruptcy last year. So, what surprises me about this whole thing is that Putin is admitting to it. And again, that surprises me. He actually came out and said, we bankrolled the whole thing. We created Wagner. So you are basically admitting, let me understand what you're saying to your own people. You diverted money from your military, from the Russian military, so that Russian children that are conscripts that have to go in and fight in this war, they couldn't get basic equipment because you diverted that toward Wagner, Wagner, however you want to call it, to the tune of $1 billion. And that's just this year. That's not long term, the amount of money that they were pouring into this group. So when we got the remotes, then we got a couple of remotes. Remember when I was going in, I was scanning the grid, and I was I try to look at things as from a distance as a remote viewer, and I'm like, these people don't have any money, and you're looking at how much money it cost for this elite Wagner, that the prices that he was charging was just draining the coffers of the Russian government. I thought, man, how long? This is really an expensive little. How? Look, it was maybe an expense they thought they could afford 10 years ago, but now. So what Sergei did, the general, is he got in touch with reality, and he said, "Look, my own soldiers don't even have protective equipment. We're running out of ammo. We're going to dissolve a Wagner. We can't financially afford to continue to pay you." So I came out with a remote. They're not long for this world because I can see the financial situation. I can see how much Wagner's charging. They can't keep this up. So they couldn't keep it up. And they fired him. They basically said, "We're dissolving Wagner. We're going to get cheaper people out of Chechnya, cheaper troops out of Africa, etc., that don't charge as much. You charge too much." Got into a huge fight with Sergei. He wanted also an extra tip for taking Bakhmut. Sergei said he was blowing through too much equipment, too much ammo. He said, "Yeah, that's because my soldiers, unlike your soldiers, are actually going out and doing the fighting. That's why we're burning through the ammo." He got angry. Ukrainian intelligence was communicating with Prigozhin because, if you recall, a couple of weeks ago, Prigozhin said, "You don't pay me," and then he approached the West and said, "Well, you pay me." This is where things start to get interesting, and feel free to discuss it. Who approaches? Well, it's probably going to break in the next 24 hours because the British intelligence told us to, when we did the remote, said give us 4 days. So it's starting to come out. But basically what happened was, which would be tomorrow, right? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay, Friday, Saturday. So basically what happened was, in the middle of this, when he got angry and publicly said, "You pay me," there was some mediation that happened between them and British intelligence, and he began to sell locations for money. Now, Wagner's argument was, "They don't pay me." Over and over and over and over and over again, I'd go in and he would say, "They don't pay me." Well, they're saying that they don't have the money anymore in the budget. The military budget for Russia isn't there to pay you. This is what they're saying, Prigozhin. I'm sorry, but this is the situation. This is the dialogue that I'm having. So that's the point at which he says, "They don't pay me, you pay me." So he began to sell information. And at that point, he's a traitor, right? But what do you expect me to do? These guys have to get paid. They just risked their lives. You know how many men I buried? We're in hell, and you're not going to pay us? So you can imagine the level of anger. So I think that we seized an opportunity. I think the West seized an opportunity. I think he gave up coordinates. I think they paid him. I don't think that the FSB is lying about confiscating $40-something million in cash from 2 vans that just happened to be locked up. No, I think when he says, "That's the money to pay," I think he's telling the truth when he says, "That's the money that's supposed to go to my soldiers because you didn't pay me." Well, here's where we find ourselves. So now Prigozhin is a traitor. He's the main guy that was responsible for all of the crazy stuff that was going on with the bots, etc., the wars, the tension in Africa, etc., creating new trade routes. We've talked about this ad nauseum. Routes, routes, routes. I want my trade routes, right? So this was the guy that was supposed to supply them. So imagine the situation we're in right now, that these 2 individuals that had been plotting this and draining Russia dry to do all of this, which was the whole entire thing that we started talking about 5 years ago when we talked about trade routes. This was the guy that was supposed to make it happen. He was the guy that was saying, we go into Ukraine, now the trade route, right? We take the sea, that little sea. We hold on to the black. It was all about trade. So we could go in and check. I mean, because in the vision, he's surrounded 7 of wands, right? Or no, 10 of wands. Is it 10 of wands? No, it was 7 of wands. 7 of wands, he's surrounded and he's fighting back. But we don't know what happens after that. We only know that that's how it ends. I think basically from the remote views, he's under arrest. He's not dead, he's under arrest. He's more important alive than dead, because alive he could be potentially a negotiating tool for Putin to sell to the West, and they want him to he and his henchmen to be tried in The Hague. So what Putin has to do is say, I got seduced by Prigozhin. It was all Prigozhin, mea culpa, for as much as he can do. The only way this guy's going to save himself is to say the entire thing was Prigozhin's fault. And that look, he's looking desperately for a way to get out of Ukraine. They don't have anything left. They've already crossed the river, which was the whole, remember what Putin told us 2 weeks ago? They crossed the river, I'm toast. He was desperate to keep them off the East River because he knew he didn't have enough men to secure it, according to the records, what we got into. They crossed it. So he was so desperate, he blew up the dam to slow down the progress. You guys want to talk about it? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Oh, pretty. Oh, thank you. Yeah, they told me to take a break from my glasses. Yeah. So I'm like, well, I do my show. I'll start. Yeah. I'm supposed to be doing the stigmatism ones. It's supposed to actually be good for you. But I hate putting, it's not nearly enough. You're supposed to do it a couple days, 3 days a week. I'm doing it. The new stigmatism. Thank you, though. Thanks for noticing. I just feel they're so vulnerable that at this point, don't you think NATO could just walk in? You want me to talk about the remotes some more? I mean, I don't know what else I can add other than the fact that it's a great opportunity for Putin to negotiate sending this guy to the West, which is, who else have they done this to? What happened to the former Yugoslavia, right? People started turning on each other, right? Bosnia, Serbia, people started selling each other out. And then you had, of all people, Jack Smith was part of, who was the main guy that was, Milosevic was one of the people that was. Okay. Empath prayer. Yes, we will do that when we go into the blitzes. I have one more thing to do, which is we have a ton of remote views to do on Rudy Giuliani, Debbie. Give a warm welcome to the beautiful Debbie Brady. She is the branding producer for the show. So she has officially become our branding media person. So welcome her. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Rudy Giuliani. Who here is amused by everything that is going on with Giuliani? All right, so what's going on with Giuliani? We talked about this a couple of years ago, and so we'll go back into it because we got into some records on Giuliani, and this is how much information I have on Giuliani if you want to snap a quick pic. It gets from bad to worse. As bad as you think it is, it's going to get worse. So basically, Rudy Giuliani, he has been subpoenaed. He was subpoenaed to hand over documents regarding his legal relationship with Donald Trump. This is one of the things that's been subpoenaed. So basically, he has entered into a proffer agreement where he agreed to sit down and talk, volunteer to talk with the feds, right? That's very nice of him, right? Before we subpoena you. So the people that were at the Willard Hotel that were part of planning the plot, right? All of them are the last henchmen to go down. We talked about they all, by the way, share lawyers. You know, we're a team like the mafia, right? So you've got the Tea Party people taking money, being bribed by Russia, which was the last remote with AEB Bank. You've got all these people out of New York that were compromised as Putin tries to take over and create a little Putin Island in Russia. So then you have Rudy Giuliani. And Rudy Giuliani is a very interesting person because first off, he's under investigation for creating fake elector scheme along with his friends. But this starts to get really interesting. It appears when we go into the remote that what he did for his client, and according to him, according to Rudy Giuliani, this is what he said in the remote: this is not the only person that I've done this for. So he has done this for a lot of people. So his deal, Rudy Giuliani's deal, I used the FBI for my personal benefit. So he had private clients after he was no longer a mayor. And what he did was he was hired by wealthy, powerful people, and then he would skip over to the FBI, which he was connected with. And he had friends in the FBI. He had a contact in the FBI, and he would use federal resources to get dirt on his enemies or his clients' enemies and then ruin their lives. So that's interesting because we all pay taxes. So there's your money. So you paid for this guy to use federal resources to steal the election in 2016 by using federal resources to dig up dirt on Hillary Clinton to weaponize against her. So what he did is here's how it looks. Here's my mental stream. I followed the energy down. What we found was we went into him. We went to his clients. The client has a problem. Great. Let me give you the name. You're having a problem with this person. You have a problem with Joe. I'll take care of it. He goes across the street. He goes to the FBI. My contacts, Bill, Frank. I'll give you a little money on the side for helping. It's a little side business that they're doing for me. They're doing a little side work for me. All right, so I need you to check this name out for me. So I'm going to go over to the FBI, and Joe Blow and whoever at the FBI at their field office in New York, we're doing a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge, a little cash on the side. So they're now using these resources. He collected dirt on any opposition that DT had. I did this for other clients as well. Basically, we collected dirt for our clients and used it against them. I also buried evidence for my clients in order to maintain their popularity. So he used the FBI. He paid people to bury investigations, and he paid people to create bogus investigations. I engineered negotiations between the unions and the cops. This is crap I don't even know about. It's coming down. He said he was investigating sleazy cops, unions, bribing, and the mafia. He was in the middle of all of that. He said strange things too. Life is bittersweet. He's very wistful. He said that basically this is my insurance policy. Anybody and everybody. He was digging dirt on people and collecting it. My field office, I went to my field office to collect dirt on the opposition for my clients like DT. Nobody, none, the only one. He's not the only one. We went after Elliot Spitzer using FBI. So he used the FBI to go after Elliot Spitzer, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. They also used it to promote or pump stories for the National Enquirer. How do you guys feel about your resources being used like that and the fact that this is going to break? You angry, you upset, you want to burn something? Should he get immunity? I think some of y'all are having hot flashes after I just gave you that. You okay? You're not okay. Well, everybody's going to know what you know in about a week and a half. Does that make you feel better? Discuss? I really don't think that any of us can be naive anymore as Americans about what's happened to our country, right? When this kind of stuff starts to come out. Hmm. So does this go back, do you think, to those conversations that we've had about how the investigation is going to be on the investigators, that ultimately the real investigation is going to be into how Homeland was compromised? Yeah, I think so. All right, so we're done with the remotes. I'm going to go ahead and do the Empath prayer. We'll do some blitzes. I've cleared the cards, so we should be okay. Any announcements that I need to make that I haven't? Thank you, everyone, for the memberships. We are so thrilled. We are close to 300 memberships, people joining and becoming little whimsies. It's very exciting. So yes, please think about joining. It's awesome. Are we ready to do the Empath prayer? And then we blitz, blitz, blitz away. Looks like Debbie was reminding me we got to go for it. My producer is telling me to hurry up. That's it. We're going. All right, let's do it. Empath prayer. Okay, I want to call on white light protection for myself and this community as we ask permission from Spirit to access the Akashic records. We call on our spirit guides and our good angels to be with us. Please give us the clarity and the wisdom that is needed to empower all of us on our journeys, to make the best decisions for ourselves, our families, the planet, the people we love, but also to help those that we may have strife with. And together, collectively, we say, Amen. All right, let's blitz away. I'll go back and see the older questions that you guys had because I know some of you got questions in early. Okay, so Debbie, remember when Trump met with Putin and only the interpreter was allowed? See, I think it was all about him getting troops out of, don't you think it was all about getting troops out? He wanted, again, it goes back to the trade routes. I think that's what we found out, Debbie, was that it was about getting U.S. out of there. Yeah, it had to do with the fact that Putin felt boxed in by U.S. troops being there, and his allies, Syria and Iran, were feeling boxed in, and so was Turkey, who he had put Erdogan in. And so it was about when they were going to withdraw troops. He couldn't get out of his location. It's all about being boxed in, winning to the other side. This is an affair, cheating. This is Robert Mueller's card, by the way. Final outcome, he lost the war. Great question, Debbie. And boy, did they give you a great answer. That was awesome. Okay, Lisa. Hello, my love. Thanks for your question. 2 Russian generals are missing, including one that Prigozhin wanted to have removed. What happened to them? You know, this is a weird situation because when I tune into the other guy, he was one of the people that was instrumental in supporting Wagner for the Russia. And so the fact that they were going to dissolve this Frankenstein that they had built and paid for, and the fact that now these Wagner people, you're not going to pay, oh my God, are now coming to get you. We're going to get on money, right? It really does remind me of some of my relatives. Let's look. They're not dead. They're probably under arrest. The guy in Russia is definitely under arrest, and probably Prigozhin too. Heartbreak. Their families evidently can't get contact to them. Other families are okay, though. They haven't hurt their families. Looks like there's a peace offering here. I do think people could be turned over to the West. Yes, there's some kind of negotiation. Whoa. That shocks me. You know, Russia doesn't usually do this. Russia doesn't usually hand over their people to the West. It's like something that's just not usually done. But here you have a possibility that Putin could toss them like garbage. He says they're garbage. He wants to toss them like garbage. So what happened was the head guy who Putin rewarded was the top general working with Wagner. And the reason he joined the revolt was because they wanted to put somebody in power that was going to protect Wagner. There's something in the works here. Look at this. This could be part of an armistice deal, which is interesting to me because everybody wants peace, and are we going to take peace? Like, we'll take that. We're anxious. Yeah, give us a scapegoat. He's not really a scapegoat though, because he really is responsible. But I don't think Putin will show any mercy, which means he could throw them. From his perspective, giving them to the West is to throw them to the wolves. He will show no mercy to them. He feels like he has been embarrassed in front of the entire world, Putin, and they will be dealt with very harshly. And it's very, very possible that as part of the armistice, he will start handing him over to the West. It's really pretty gruesome. I mean, you can just see this brutal. This is Putin. This is him with the West. This is the Wagner. It's not pretty. This is the armistice. Dove of peace, right? So yeah, he's going to keep Wagner people alive as a possible negotiating tool with the West. How do you guys feel about that? I mean, there's really not. I don't know if there's any way we can feel about it. I mean, because people are not going to be happy if he's not sitting in jail with Putin. I think that's why it's not most people are not going to be happy. He was only doing what Putin asked him to do. He was rewarded because he gave Putin exactly what he wanted, and because they robbed Russia blind. Joel Tilson, will Putin blame everything on Prigozhin? Yeah, I think so. I think that's exactly what the cards are saying. Yeah. Let's keep going. No, the Wagner Group, Joel, was dissolved by Putin. He made an announcement, and he has been publicly talking about the fact that they he's basically openly saying that Wagner bankrupted his military. I gotta say, I'm kind of surprised. He didn't use the term bankrupted. You can tell they're in pretty bad shape financially, and you can see who he's blaming. He's blaming Wagner, right? Who seduced him into the Ukraine war? Prigozhin. I don't know how the West is going to handle it. Thank you for giving him to us, but we're not done yet, right? Did Julian flip on Trump? I don't know who Julian is. Oh, Giuliani. Uh, yeah, Giuliani already subpoenaed all of his documents on his relationship with Trump are already in the hands of the feds. He's going to have to make a deal. Okay. All All right, let's take a look at the Canadian fires. Would you guys like us to do another fundraiser for North American Forest so we can plant some more trees in Canada? AmericanForest.org is also plants in Canada. We can run another fundraiser if you like. It's up to you guys. Yes, you guys want to build another forest? I think we've probably planted about 20-something thousand trees. It's a forest. Plant another one if you guys want to. Why not? The more the merrier. All right, the wildfires in Canada and the air quality. Looks like there's some rain coming in. Whoa. Very, very bad for local communities that got trapped. Small neighborhoods got trapped and logging communities, etc. It was very, very bad. A lot of communities wound up trapped. There has to be new laws in Canada for campers. People that are camping, we used to be able to make fires, have fire pits everywhere when I grew up. We grew up on the border, spent time in Canada, spent time in the States. We'd build fires all the time, barbecue, etc. That was basically my whole childhood, right? So we can't do that anymore because they're saying irresponsible people drinking beer, getting high, lighting fires, having a good time, not putting their fires out properly. This has become a major problem in Canada. And, you know, it's a serious camping community and it's camping high season. But the area is just not what it used to be. Heartbreak. Temperance. Maybe people were partying, had one too many drinks, built a fire, didn't put it out properly. Heartbreak because there was some, maybe some party that got out of hand. Maybe people built a bonfire, they didn't put it out properly. It might have been a graduation party or something. It's taking a ton of money by the feds to clean it up. It's been economically really hard on Canada. You can see just huge economic toll. New laws. Foolish behavior led to the fire. Something about drinking and partying. I think it was probably some kids graduating. Somebody went to jail or maybe prosecuted. New laws. We didn't have a problem like Vancouver, Seattle, Bellingham, because it rained all the time. It was wet all the time. So we always had fires going. We never had these problems when I was a kid. It's just that now it's different. Things have changed. So, oh, thank you for that lovely donation from the beautiful Kathleen O'Malley. I appreciate you, Kathleen. Yeah, I need to get a drink here. What am I drinking next? I've got 3 things to choose from. Let's move on to the coffee. So, in terms of the future of the fires, new laws will help. It's coming up a lot. It's this people camping and partying. It's cheap, it's inexpensive. You grab a couple beers, you got a cooler, you got some bologna sandwiches, you build a fire. I mean, this is how it is. But it's a problem. They're going to start arresting people. You can't build. The laws have completely changed as a result. That's the answer. Again, alcohol, party, people going to jail. So it's a repet the police. Yeah, interesting. Those are interesting cards. So, yeah, the laws change, and also plant more trees and global warming, unfortunately. Okay. Oh, thank you. I look pretty. Oh, you're very sweet. I have very little makeup on too, so I'm feeling you guys are totally pumping my ego right now. Thank you. I do think glasses. I try to get the. I think glasses do affect the way I look a lot. Maybe I don't know. I like the way I look with glasses too. Oh, this is a really good question. Joanna Carson is asking, y'all know about Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant in Ukraine, right? Y'all know about that? That it's one of the largest nuclear power plants in Europe. And we had talked about the fact that it's probably not going to be under Russian control for much longer, which is another thing that infuriates Putin, right? We built this stuff. It's like when we went into the remote on the Ukrainian church and the Russian Orthodox church. They went in, they stole, they ransacked the Ukrainian churches, no respect, and stole icons. They stole religious artifacts and marched them back to St. Petersburg. And that was stuff that was not publicly talked a lot about. But it's this overall feeling like it's ours, we have a right to it. It's interesting. Okay, let's take a look and see if the nuclear power plant is going to be okay. The International Atomic Commission, I forget their name, they're going to be allowed to go in. They're not political, but they will be allowed to go in. They will have full access. So it's going to be okay. There's a judgment coming down. It's relatively soon. You have a four-wall, strong judgment for a new beginning for Zaporizhzhia. There appears to be a handing over with, they're not going to fight. See, I was worried that they were going to start, because evidently it's been booby trapped, but you have a 10 of cups, cooperation. A lot of confusion about what the hell just went down. It's like they don't even know who's in charge, and the people that were giving them orders are now arrested. So there's some real confusion in Zaporizhzhia. Like, what are we supposed to be doing? What happened to the guy that I don't know? He disappeared. I thought he got killed. No, he got arrested. I mean, there's a real confusion. Who's the boss of Zaporizhzhia right now? There's some real confusion about who's in charge. Hopes and fears, the environment, right? Profit environment and victory. This is eco-friendly. It's also profits card. You can see this is the Atomic Energy Commission coming in. Masters coming in to secure the situation. They're not going to fight. They're going to pull back. Putin's going to make nice and say it wasn't my fault. It's all Prigozhin. The atomic energy people are going to be allowed to come in and secure the plant. Probably they will be able to do it without killing anybody because of where the wheels are turning with Putin. But to be honest with you, if you go into the remotes, Putin's henchmen, his number one people, are all scammering around saying, pick me, and I'll keep you alive. Pick me. So he can see the writing on the wall. He may want to bow out while he still has some control in picking his successor. And so it's definitely something he's going to want to be thinking about in the next coming next few days, weeks, however long. It's definitely something I would think about if I had a government that stable. It's like, who can I trust to take the reins? It would diffuse some of the anger, just like it did when people were pissed at Yeltsin. Putin said, you can trust me, I'll take the reins and I'll keep you alive. And he did. Putin needs that person now because uh, I think he's just very weakened. And if if things continue to spiral out of control, somebody may get into power that is not a fan of Putin, and then it could go really bad for him. All right, Bert Benz is asking, Dear Whimsy, could you please shed a light on how Madonna is doing? How and what caused her to be hospitalized and even intubated? Thank you. Oh my God, that's horrible. Evidently, she had a very serious bacterial infection. Yeah, let's take a look at Madonna, see if she's okay. Yeah, that's horrible. Yeah. Send good thoughts to her that she receive a healing. She's really going through some stuff, right? Ageism in music, right? Which makes no sense because, like anything in life, a musician would get better when they got older, right? The music industry needs to go through a revolution, right? They say it needs to go through a Me Too movement. She lives. First thing she's talking about is this is Madonna. She's in. She says, "I live a very clean life. I've never been into drugs and drinking and stuff. I've always lived a very clean life. Like, she might have done a little drugs. But she always tried to be disciplined because she was raised that way with a certain set of discipline. So it's like the weekend warrior party, but she had a tremendous ability to take responsibility for her health and not deal with issues of addiction. And actually, she's giving me really private information. I don't even know if I should make public. As a member of her family that's struggling with drug use right now. And this is not even relevant, but she said that when she's had family members that struggle with drugs and addiction, etc., and she always wanted to lead by example. So she's always been health conscious, yoga, clean living, etc. Though she did do some partying. She presents with temperance. I'm trying to live a balanced life. So even if you have a balanced life, as she's saying, and you are really taking responsibility for your health, you get older, you can get sick. She's worried about her son. She's talking about her kids. Her son's having some problems right now. I guess it's David. She's having some challenges with David. He's just going through some stuff, and she's worried about him. And she said, I've tried to model balance for him because he is going through some stuff. She feels weak in a way she's never felt weak before. So this is talking about issues with struggles with addiction, which she's never had before, worrying about her son. So maybe I don't know why they're talking about this. Maybe she got depressed and something happened, something addictive she's dealing with, but she's going to be okay. You can see the Ace of Cups is over her. She's a really good mom, which is not public information. I mean, she really does put a tremendous amount of energy and love towards her children. Look at that star. She lives for her children. That's not public information. More traveling ahead. This discipline that she has, Madonna, my God, she's the emperor. Just unbelievably. She's struggling with some type of addiction issue. You can see here, devil and temperance. And then the moon card lies with her son. So there's something going on in the family. And there's concern about that. But she's Two of Wands, strong business partnerships, pursuits. She's also getting very actively involved in international investing because the Two of Wands has an international import-export. Yeah, she's going to be okay. It's too bad her son's going through some stuff. I hope he's going to be okay. Yeah. All right, let's see here. She's going to be okay. Yeah. It's interesting, you can do everything right. Like she's eaten mostly vegetarian, does yoga, and you can still get hit by a gnarly bug. And yeah. Oh, Shivani says that she's the former neighbor of Giuliani, and nothing surprises her. Joel said he's drunk and confused. Yeah, yeah, exactly, Joel. That's the problem with this whole story. What do you guys think about that? What Giuliani is saying? So he was helping his friends get loans from Russia. Then he wound up in the middle of the whole Russian thing. Then he started working for the mob. Then he was putting pressure. Then he was in the middle of something between the cops and some union, evidently, from what I can figure out. Oh my God, what a mess. And then he was getting dirt. Oh, you're having a problem with Joe? And then going over and getting dirt on Joe and then threatening. What a mess. It's uh, it's surprising that this, well, stealing the election too, what they did to Hillary, opening up out of the New York fake it's just, and then creating a fake investigation and then broadcasting it. Yeah. Pressuring the New York field office, running around to find stuff, pressuring your friends at the New York field office until eventually they do something, saying, "Look what happened 3 weeks before the election. Who knew?" Stuff like that. So, yeah, a lot of people think he should go to prison. I don't know. I would think with that kind of a history, he would have plenty of dirt that he could share with the feds in order to maybe make a deal. Yeah. Yeah, Rudy was connected with the mob and has nothing but glowing things to say about Putin, by the way, which is interesting. Yeah. Let's take a look at that, Joel. You guys been keeping up on Jack Smith, the fact that it looks like Trump could be indicted for January 6th pretty soon. You know, it's interesting because when you go into the remote, you feel this kind of pressure on Trump to make a deal, make a deal, make a deal, Trump, make a deal. And then just as you're feeling that, Giuliani comes in and says, "Hey, let's make a deal." Let's see what Jack is up to. It's good to hang out with everybody on this beautiful Thursday for hot topics. Hopefully you've all liked and subscribed. Maybe thought about being a member. Get together on Saturdays for free readings for members if you want to join us. All right, Jack's future. It's building a case. The people involved, here's the problem. The people that are part of the Tea Party have protection from within DC. That's the problem. They protect each other. They get each other into Harvard. They get each other into Yale. Like the affirmative action joke, right? When they threw out affirmative action, because that's not fair. No, what's fair is to do it the old fashioned way, which is you have a 2.6 GPA and you get into Yale because dad got into Yale and he paid to get you into Yale. Like what happened uh, with Bush Jr., right? He had a 2.6. Wouldn't you love to get into Yale and not have student loans afterwards with a GPA of 2.6? That's who needs affirmative action when all you need is to pay your way in with cash, right? Because God forbid we should take racism, oppression, civil rights violations into consideration. How hard you worked to get your 3.5, right? That's a huge, for me, this is a huge selling point for community college and state colleges because I'm completely disgusted by this whole thing. But Jack Smith is building a case. He is still dealing with people that refuse to cooperate. You do have a faction that is up and, people probably like Roger Stone. Isn't Roger Stone like a true believer in the very end? He goes marching off, "I did it my way," in his penguin suit, right? You have people that are absolutely not going to cooperate with him. In a way, it's kind of creating more work for Jack Smith, but it's not going to change the trajectory of things. He's really got everything together except the roof on the house. We're looking really close at our Armistice Day card is the Three of Cups when we dance in the streets. So I would say the indictments are coming pretty soon. Yeah, Nine of Cups is over Jack Smith in the coming weeks. They lost the war. The people that refuse to cooperate, the book's going to get thrown at them. You can see here, Jack Smith got the wish. This is the wish card. This is him building the case. The other that refused to, that he's investigating, refusing. Look at that, Five of Swords. He took their sword away. They lost the war. The hope and fear, it's moving very quickly. Interesting. This is somebody who walks away, walks away from a battle they cannot win. This is a lot of imagery of walking away. Like this is to take the sword away. What's interesting here is smoother waters lay ahead and then the armistice card. So there's a genuine feeling of optimism in the nation. Like that this crazy that started from this investigation 13 years ago when Obama basically said we need to start investigating our investigators. That's kind of now we come to the present moment. I think it's another thing we can talk about, which is how could the FBI have done this to the American people? Like, where is the accountability? When are we going to start seeing open hearings? I'm waiting for the Homeland Security open hearings where these questions can be, because I think the American people have a right to answer these questions. And I think that these people need to be sitting in front of the American people. We need to find out because Homeland is corrupt. Yeah, it goes back again, always to where we were 5 years ago, 6 years ago, that this is the real investigation. And it doesn't end with Trump. And Trump is just another cog in the wheel of this shocking corruption. And it also goes back to, who believes, come on, shadow governments, don't be ridiculous. But at the same time, is this what they're talking about? Meeting on mega yachts and deciding decisions like whether or not you can get medical care in your state or whether or not your child's going to be able to get a fair chance when they apply to college. And that's what's so horrifying about this whole thing. You guys want to talk about that? I think some of you are too upset. Quite frankly, I can't blame you. The Heritage Foundation, yes. I mean, it's all, yes. I mean, it's just so obvious what happened. They needed money. They borrowed from the Russians. The Russians played the long game. They poured money into conservative causes. Probably they poured money into the Heritage Foundation. It's so horrible. This whole thing is, that's not what's upsetting me. I want every single, I'm so paranoid now. I want every single mega yacht in the entire world confiscated by Interpol, and I want the whole entire thing. I want them to clean that thing of all electronics. That's how paranoid this process has been for me. I just want to go on record. I'm starting to get a little bit like where are they? All right, we'll do one more, then I have to take off. I have a client. I have to go back to work. Alas, I must leave you. I have a real job. Yes. Well, not really. Joel, yes. Okay, so that's going to be the last question. Let's talk about the investigation into the dark money. Sound good? I'm right there. I'm upset too. I know. We can't ever take our democracy for granted, can't we? Can't just assume like everything's going to be okay, right? All right, the future of dark money in DC and what is going to happen. The family, right? All these groups. The truth is coming out. It's a very intense investigation into what happened. Uh, there are going to be laws on the books. Here's what the feds are saying. They're saying we can't totally put an end to dark money, but what we can do is that you'll have to give us full disclosure about everybody you did business with, and that will be public information. And so basically, how we are trying to protect the American people is just to publicly sanitize, publish every single penny that's in the guy's pocket, where it came from. And that's basically what the feds are working towards, is to have more transparency about people's income sources. And I think that's a great idea. So you have Archangel Michael over it. So when we talk about Archangel Michael, we're talking about this idea of, it's often called the spies card, right? Because there's an aspect to it where you're seeking the truth, right? However, again, with Jack Smith, with the investigation of dark money, you have this thing again, not cooperating. Here it is, international money. I'm so glad they chose Jack Smith also, because Jack Smith is the person that could continue theoretically this investigation when it does go into the international courts. Final outcome is armistice. The war is over. So we're moving towards armistice, which means that there is an account and a reckoning over Putin right now, which energetically is a terrible place for him to be at. And it's really strongly encouraging him, if he wants to save himself. They keep urgently saying, you must pick a successor. Yeltsin knew when it was over, and Putin is really running out of time. Thank you, John Mike Mikalski. Sorry. Thank you much for giving us hope in the future. Oh, thank you, John. That's very kind of you. I'm very I'm optimistic that this whole chapter is coming to a close. I do think the war is coming to an end. I didn't think it would be this dramatic when I followed the energy that it's been. It's rather exciting to watch, actually. Anything else I could say? I think we got timelines wrong a couple times. If I were to review my work, I think my biggest weakness as a remote viewer is I sometimes get a little too optimistic. I think if I were to be honestly asked to review my work over the last couple of years, I think it's pretty good work. But I think I need to walk. I think if I were to be honest, it would be I got to watch my optimism, because I always want to think it's going to be the best possible outcome, right? So I have to be careful about that. But yeah, that is the readings today. Thank you, everybody. I am taking tomorrow off, and I'm thrilled. It is a personal day. Thank you very much. I needed it. I don't want to travel. I have no interest. People are like, well, summer's coming. Go on vacation. No, might go to Europe in the fall. Hang out with my friend Francis, maybe in Germany, and go see Scandinavia. I am staying here with my kitty cat. No, I am not perfect. One of the things you have to get past ego. I joke about my ego, but the truth of the matter is, if you really want to be a good remote viewer, you got to look at your. See, that's why I keep notes and I document, I record, I go in, I check, and you got to find your weaknesses, and that's how you become better. Just you got to keep looking, and how can I be a better remote viewer and be as objective as possible. All right, love and light. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your support. Be sure and share, like, subscribe. I'll see you guys later. I'll see you on Saturday. If you are a member, we are going to get together for our community readings. So please join us. All right, see you guys later. Bye.